In this week's Celts in the Caribbean, we're going to be talking about
leg lengthening.
thunder snow hits Scotland.
The Queen's business plan to make money during COVID.
An anti-gay Hungarian politician gets bummed.
The Alexa developer who creates a cat meow translator.
Adolf Hitler wins local election.
In Namibia.
And all this and more in this week's Celts in the Caribbean. Enjoy. Hello and welcome to this edition of Celts in the Caribbean. Coming to you from Bonaire. My name's Alan.
And I'm Yunan. Welcome, everyone.
Welcome, guys. Hope you're having a good week. It's we're recording this on December the 5th, episode 32, and we're
official day of Sinterklaas.
Yeah, we're closing out. Oh, I thought Sinterklaas was the 4th of December. Was that yesterday? Do you want to explain? You know better than I do. Do you want to explain to our viewers what Sinterklaas is?
He is essentially Santa Claus, and it's supposed to be, I think, a Turkish bishop with 8 to 10.
And what happens if you're
that accompany him? And
so he is a little bit controversial.
He's very controversial.
So it's kind of, is it just from the Netherlands, or is it other countries that do Sinterklaas?
As far as I know, it's just the Netherlands, but maybe the Germans also have something similar.
He's a little bit controversial because Sinterklaas comes down the chimney, and then when he does, he gets covered in soot. And to represent that,
particularly his helpers, they get covered in soot. So that's why the main helper is Zwarte Piet, which means Black Pete. And typically he is blackface. And this is a really hot topic, so I will probably not go too much into it. But
what happens if you're a naughty child in the Netherlands and Sinterklaas gets you?
It's fantastic. You don't just get coal. You get scooped up into a sack and get taken back to Spain.
To Spain. You get kidnapped and taken to Spain by Sinterklaas.
Yep. So that's what the naughty kids get. But the good kids get a chocolate letter in their name. So if your name is Alan, you get an A, and that's stuffed into your shoe. Also, you get you get regular, what we would call Christmas presents. You get many kids in the Netherlands will celebrate Sinterklaas over Christmas, and they'll get presents at this time.
Do you have chocolate for me?
I don't, because you don't wear shoes. That's the only reason. That's the only reason.
If I did, I'd have chocolate in there. Do you know what Santa Claus or Kris Kringle, or whatever you want to call him? Do you know what it is in Irish, in Gaelic?
No.
Okay, so Santa Claus in Gaelic is Daidi Nan Nolag. Does that sound familiar? I probably butchered the pronunciation, but that in Irish Gaelic, that's what it's pronounced.
It's Nolag, but how do you spell it? Daideann?
Daidi, but the I with the accent, and then a space NA. But anyway, so the traditional translation of that is Father of Christmas.
Yeah.
The literal translation, Daddy December. And I love that.
We are very literal.
So are you telling me you had to go and sit on Daddy December's lap and tell him what you wished for Christmas when you were a child?
Yeah, I did. I did.
That's amazing.
Can I ask, was that what your burn of the Irish was for this week? Because you told me about this 2 weeks ago. You're like, oh, so good. I'm gonna burn Irish people so bad.
Yes, it was. Yeah.
Oh, fuck off.
Having to, as you're growing up, sitting on Daddy December.
December.
Do you call him that? Daddy.
Yeah.
I want a bike and a pony.
Yeah. Oh God, it's terrible.
Did you fill his sack?
No, he emptied his though.
I was trying to be good for at least 10 minutes on the show this week. So if it's the first time joining us, welcome. We like to go into the weird and wonderful news stories of the last couple of weeks. So I wanted to start this episode because we are in December and it's been a rough 2020 for everybody. I wanted to start with some actual feel-good news stories. So not taking the piss or anything. These are just like ones that I've read of
puppy cuddling kind of stories.
Yeah, that are just like, have you ever watched Russell Howard's show? And at the end, he does like, it's Russell Howard. He's a British comedian, like really funny. And at the end, he usually does like a good news story, which is like, so I'm just stealing that off him and doing it at the start.
Yeah, nice. I like how you've changed it.
Yeah.
Better.
So I've got a story, another story from Ireland, actually. Have you heard of the Late Late Toy Show?
I have. I love the Late Late Toy Show.
It sounds like it's I've never heard of it. It sounds like it's an institution. It's the longest running show on Irish television on RTE.
It's fantastic. Yeah.
That got into the news this week just for a little legend called Adam King. He's 6 years old.
Was this the NASA kid?
It is, yeah.
Yeah, nice.
So he suffers from something called brittle bone syndrome. So he's in a wheelchair. But he came on and he was doing a toy review. And he was there, so they have a little conversation. He was asked what he wanted to be when he grows up. And he wanted to work for Capcom. It's for NASA, which is in the communications department. So he could go and do that. And NASA got in touch with him and said, Adam, we love your heart and adventurous spirit. You inspire us. And there's a space for everybody at NASA. And we can't wait for you to join us one day.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Awesome. Well, I love stories like that when seemingly unobtainable companies will just go out their way for 10 minutes just to
but it's
make
these
somebody's he'll remember
thinking
that
outside the
forever.
box. Irish children. You seen the one where I think we talked about it last year where the kid want the United supporter, the 10-year-old United supporter from Donegal, wrote a letter to Jurgen Klopp and said, "Can you please stop winning?"
Yes.
And Jurgen Klopp actually got back to him and it made the news also. It's, I'm telling you, man, these kids are like, you know what? Fuck wishing for it. Let's just write him a letter.
Yeah.
Let's just send him a vlog.
and it's working. And like my next feel good story is related to that, actually. This one's from Derby County. So that's, they're a championship side in the English football. They're kind of managerless right now, but Wayne Rooney.
Yeah, it's just
a lot of people have heard.
Yeah,
he's kind of kind of looking after them just now, kind of player manager. So they're seeking a manager, and they had an application from Toby, who is 9 years old, and they actually interviewed him for the job, which is awesome. So they got him on. They got him online, and he's been gone through the interview process for Derby County's managerial position, and he was asked some pretty tough questions and smashed it. Like apparently his granddad only lived 10 miles from the ground, so that's how he's going to get there, and he'll probably have to arrange a tutor if he's going to have to miss some school and stuff. But that was just another really sweet news story this week.
That is quite nice.
Again, it's just.
Did they ask him what he would do with the budget?
Strikers. So yeah,
fantastic.
I think they've scored.
I'm going to blow it all on strikers.
They've scored 5 goals in the last 12 games. So he's like,
sounds like Ireland. Are you sure you're not talking about the Irish national team?
So he's going to blow his budget on that. And have you got any feel good stories this week?
No.
Okay, I've got
depressing and.
I'll get one. My last one out there just before we go on to our ridiculousness and stolen phallic wooden whatevers are coming up. Just a shout out to Sarah Fuller. So that was another good one. She made history this week as the first woman to play an American football match. in a professional American football match. It was called a Power 5 game. I don't know what that is, but it was like kind of big news that she'd sort of broken down a couple of like gender barriers and managed to do that. So that's awesome. So good job to Sarah Fuller.
Well done for breaking down the barriers,
Yeah.
Sarah.
Nice one.
Well, my first story that I was going to talk about was the Thai drug bust. Have you seen this?
I did. Yes, this was on my list.
Yeah, the largest ketamine haul in Thai history of $950 million US. So this was a really big thing for the Bangkok police, who had a tip off from the Taiwan authorities to say that there was drugs in this warehouse, and they went to the warehouse and they got these 950 million quids worth of what they thought was ketamine. But
11.5 tons.
Yeah, 11.5 tons
powder. Yeah.
And so they tested it, and when they tested it, it came up purple like ketamine would. So they're like, sweet, ketamine bust. Amazing stuff. But then when it actually went to the lab to be thoroughly tested, it came back as a cleaning agent.
It was trisodium phosphate it came back as. So, yes.
It also turns up purple on the ketamine test.
Little bit of a technical error there in the old field test.
They tested like 60 bags worth, and they all came back with trisodium phosphate. And so now the poor guy who really was eager to hold this press conference has had to come back out and be like, well, in hindsight, I think we had the press conference too soon.
Yeah, there's a few red faces on that one. There must have been a few guys going home and having a few beers and be like, we're going to be in the news. It was close to $1 billion drug bust. That's
enormous.
That's a world beater, surely. Yeah. That's incredible. And then, it turns out to be Cilit Bang.
Yes. But do you think that, so it turns out purple like ketamine. Do you think that the people who may smuggle those same drugs also put like false bags in there, ones that may be taken out for testing, that they also know would come up as something that would be thoroughly tested and then just released again? And then all of a sudden it's like Ocean's 11, you know?
Oh, I'm sure that happens for sure. You mean like in that 11.5 tons worth of cleaning agent?
Was there like nine
ton
tons or 8 tons or something of ketamine or half a ton of ketamine?
I don't know about that specific incident, but I'm sure that happens all the time. It'll be like a
false flag, and then you go, okay, release it, and then they distribute it. I wonder if that's a possibility.
Yeah. Hide your leaves in the trees, or whatever the saying is.
That I've never heard that, but that is a very good saying.
Yeah.
Hide your leaves in the trees.
Usually I leave my favorite headline of the week till later in, just to keep everybody enthralled. But I want to blow my load early this week.
Don't we?
I think I got in touch with you. So we record these on Saturdays. I got in touch with you last Sunday. I was like, already I've found my favorite headline for next week.
And I asked you, did you research it? And you never got back to that message.
Well, I'm not a great responder to me.
Or research.
I've done enough research. It's all in the headline. Actually, I want to play a game with this a little bit. I'm gonna read half the headline.
I do,
and games. You've got to try and fill in the end bit. Okay. Even the half the headline is great.
Okay.
So this one is about John Lydon, who you might know better as Johnny Rotten.
Yeah,
from
Johnny Rotten. Yeah.
So here we go. So, Sex Pistols star John Lydon bitten by flea on his penis after
cuddling with donkeys.
Cuddling with donkeys. You're actually not far off. That was pretty good. The full headline for this is Sex Pistols star John Lydon bitten by flea on his penis after befriending squirrels.
What the
So you-
fuck is that even?
So you weren't far away. So Johnny Rodden, he lives on a big estate in Los Angeles in Venice Beach. And I'm guessing during quarantine, he's been a little
Naked?
bit naked, a little bit bored, and has come to sort of just befriending the squirrels around his yard. So he's been feeding them.
Yeah.
But
nuts.
he is quite adamant that he's trying to make sure they're still independent squirrels and that he's not like
They're not dependent on his
they're
nuts.
not. Yeah,
Totally understand.
And he doesn't pet them. But sometimes they nudge him to let him know that they're hungry. But yeah, so he's got a couple of fleas that have bit him on his wiener there.
No way.
And
But like that, it does raise questions. Like, how close were the squirrels?
he does say, I'm definitely spending a lot of money on those little fuckers. So there's obviously a lot of love there. And he is, there does, so this is coming out in he's got a new autobiography. So a lot of the story's coming from his autobiography. So, and it does sound like he's a little bit nervous that the squirrels don't love him.
Nuts and tail.
Yeah, it's more that it's a conditional love for the food. But he doesn't blame the squirrels. And he has taken to putting Vaseline on his legs and other areas in order to stop the fleas.
To what?
getting
Make them.
on.
Oh, okay. It's like making it more slippery for the squirrels to climb him.
I think more the fleas, so they can't get purchase.
Oh my god! This is.
He does. There is the quote here. I hope they don't. I'm using Vaseline on my legs. I hope they don't get the wrong idea. So I think Johnny Rotten is still cruising on his own freeway a little bit. But yeah.
Did you see the Alexa developer who is now trying to or has developed an app to translate cats' meows?
No. Do you want to? Oh, so that you can. I think people have done that with dogs and stuff, and you're trying to interpret the woof, and they're like,
exactly.
"I'm hungry. I want to go outside."
It's an interesting take on it. So the developer lets the owner of the app actually put in the information themselves into the app. So essentially, you build the app yourself as far as or the information that you're going to go on. It turns out cats don't actually all have the same language. So each cat has a different meow. Some of them talk more than others. So you can't just have one generic app that translates all cat meows.
This is so ridiculous.
This is so ridiculous, but it's happening. And
I was so into it there for a second. I was like, oh yeah, I guess that would be really challenging for whoever's developing the app. There's so many different languages.
That's actually how I read the headline. Wait a second. So fucking Carol Baskin over there is going to be like, that means hungry. So every time the cat meows in that way, it's hungry. But that's actually what it is. So each time that the cat meows in a different way and it looks for food, affection, whatever, then you put it into the app. So then eventually what they want to develop from this is a collar. And from that collar, it's going to have a voice box of a human.
Nope.
So when they meow, it comes out like Siri. It's gonna be crazy.
That's a terrible idea. Like that's coming from a mind of like that cats and dogs are like super sweet and they're not just running around going, "Oi, dickhead, feed me."
Well,
I want to fuck your leg.
There's 13 phrases already, and the top 3 that they have in this news story is "I'm hungry," "I'm angry," and "leave me alone."
That sounds
so
exactly
good.
Right.
It's like it's perfect. It's totally 2 really negative from the cat and 1 actually all 3 negative. They just want shit or just want you to fuck off.
I have seen, I think it was a husky that and they have these like little, there's maybe 30 different buttons and they've trained it to use the buttons that then say like words. So I want to go outside, or where's dad, or
Yeah.
hungry, and it's a little bit creepy because it's never like, yeah, I'm having a great time. So it's like, want to go outside. It's almost
Yeah,
like
you're like with
somebody that's like kidnapped or something. It's like, oh,
it's like a Stephen Hawking dog.
I
would like to go outside.
We're dead. Carol Baskin was in the news.
She was
this week, actually. So,
Carol, tell me more.
So, this is one of her volunteers, Candy Crosser, 69. She's
Dinner for two.
She's 69.
Oh, sorry.
A volunteer.
That's the
Big
age.
Cat
My
Jersey.
apologies.
She had her arm nearly torn off at the animal sanctuary in Florida because she had stuck her hand through a cage, which she wasn't meant to do.
Well, she couldn't open the gate, and like without thinking, she put her hands through the cage and opened it from the opposite side. And as soon as she did, the tiger mauled her.
I can see you being
I can
I've got a problem.
Too,
I need to open it up, but not if the tiger is within 3 feet. I mean, this thing couldn't have covered
that's a good
60
point.
feet of ground. If it's sitting right there, you're like, I'll come back later.
Do you know if you do it twice a day she was doing it for 6 years or something? So like if you do it so many times a day for so long, I'm sure it becomes like, not going to do shit. And then she puts her arm in this once and it like rips the fucking arm off essentially. It like almost took her arm off at the shoulder. It wasn't like, they didn't call it a dislocation. They said it ripped her arm off at the shoulder.
Yeah.
It was just barely there. But she wants to make it very clear it was not the big cat's fault.
Good. And it was, one of the girls at Tiger King's, I can't remember whatever he called his place. She had, in the documentary, she only had one arm. She lost it.
Yeah, like you get to witness it. It's fucking awesome. No, it's totally terrible. But that was the Filipino lady who put her hand into the cage and the tiger just ate it off.
Yeah. In this one, bystanders. So there was somebody there thinking quickly, used a belt as a tourniquet, and then packed some ice around it, and
that actually is what happened, right? They just put a tourniquet on it and iced it and went straight to the hospital.
Yeah, this is real news, Like when people turn into Celts in the Caribbean, they want facts. Facts.
There's no civil strife or
until the last 10 minutes or so of the show when we're hammered, and then it's anyone's guess.
It's a free for all. Yeah.
It's just
it's a
general nonsense.
Did you see the 27-year-old embryo that was used?
This was
a baby,
a record breaker.
Yeah, and it
just interrupt before you go on.
I'll go for it.
This isn't. Can I use this screwdriver to open up a beer? It's not a special.
Let's just say, does that look like a special screwdriver?
It doesn't, but you never know. Like
you never know in this workshop. No, it's not a special screwdriver.
Okay. I forgot my bottle opener this week.
Yeah, whatever's at hand, right? Yeah. So the record, it was a record-breaking embryo, and it beat the record of her older sister. Her older sister was born in 2017 from similar embryos, but that was also an old embryo. And now this is like...
It'd be an interesting ethical question. Is she born at 27 years old because her embryo has been alive for 27 years old?
I would say I think technically 99%
no.
of the people would say no. But your philosophy professor would be like, if the tree fell in the woods, did it make a sound kind of thing?
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's just absolutely, she's just born as a child. But just to piss people off. But no, you're 27 years old. There is, when I was in Vietnam, I think there is a few countries in Asia where your age starts from your conception date rather than your birth date.
Fuck. How do you even do that?
You just take 9 months off generally.
Yeah, but it's generally, but it's not like specific. It's totally unspecific date. Well, it's not like you can go 9 months, D went in V. You were conceived.
Maybe they take a very specific diary and then they look back.
Oh my God. Yeah, we have to look that up afterwards.
Okay, will do.
Yeah.
Being over that way, I've got a story from Taiwan. I think we've talked about a little bit about some of the political explosions that happen in Taiwan before. Like it's not uncommon for fights to break out.
Yeah.
In
Parliament and also on the street.
Exactly. So this week they've been having a talk about banning. It's pork. It's U.S. pork. So it's I guess the actual what it matters doesn't matter too much. But there's pork coming in from the U.S. containing something called ractopamine, which is an additive that is banned in Taiwan, and they're talking about allowing it to come in.
Okay.
And because of this, it was a very heated argument that lawmakers, and there was a big brawl. Everybody started throwing
the pig heads, and the guts.
Pig guts at each other. So you see the photos of the floor of Parliament afterwards, and there's just buckets of like hearts and livers and intestines like everywhere. So they're trying to ease the U.S. pork imports from the 1st of January to like give a much easier summary of what I was trying to say. And but you have to come prepared for that kind of thing. Like you don't just be like,
do you walk through the lobby of that place with a plastic bucket full of hearts and lungs?
Yeah, I mean, looking at the video and looking at the photos, they're determined. They've come ready to throw pig guts.
Yeah, I saw one lady was like continually picking them up and like trying to squish them into people's faces. Yeah, I watched the video.
It's like, I've changed my mind. I'm going to change my vote.
It's so nuts. It's so nuts. But you know, like that's a really severe, take on it. But you understand too, like that. Yeah, that's pretty great. Like that, they're like, you know what? I hate this so much. I'm gonna fucking grab like all this shit from the abattoir and take it to the council sitting. If you're in Ireland, you just hear these droll bastards talking the same shit every day. Sometimes you want some fucking
filibustering situations.
Yeah,
and stuff. Yeah. It seems like a way it's one way to express yourself. Pig guts.
I would give anything to see someone like chucking some innards at like fucking Leo Varadkar, or it'd be great. Great.
So what else we're talking about, Matt?
Well, did you see the missing Florida sailor who was found, after a weekend missing? The poor bastard, he was like, I'm going to go for like a couple of nights on my boat. And then he just never came back.
I think I saw the photograph of him just like hanging onto the
ladder of the Coast Guard boat.
Yeah, where everybody's like, thought photos first, help him second.
Yeah.
It's like, I've been out for 2 days. I've got no fucking strength in my arms.
That's really funny how you say that, because when they found him, he was sitting like, so, okay, I'll go through the story first, but he went for 2 or 3 nights just to chill out in the boat, have a good time. And he woke up one of the nights to a flooded cabin. So he was already like submerged in water. The water pushed him through a window on the bow of the boat. And by that time, the boat started to list and it just sunk. He then was on the bow of the boat because like an air bubble had trapped in the bow. And that was all it was left. It was like a meter of boat above the water when they found him, when the container ship found him. And this is such a dramatic story. And, you know, he was 86 miles off the coast of Florida. Like,
it's a tough swim.
Yeah, it's a fucking tough swim. I mean, it's an insane story. And then my first thought was, you didn't get a photo of him sitting on the top of the bow? And your first thought was like, I can't believe you took a photo of him getting on the ladder. Yeah, I was just disappointed they didn't get more footage of it. But
yeah.
he's happy and healthy now, just so as everyone knows. Yeah.
Good.
His boat is fucked, but yeah.
Yeah, I guess if there's only a meter of it above the waterline, that tends to be a bit of a get in touch with your insurance company job right there.
Absolutely.
I do have another story from Florida. So this week they opened up a snow park
In Florida?
in Florida.
Wow.
Yeah, confusing. It's called Snowcat Ridge. So it's essentially it's not a dry. It looks like a dry slope ski slope, but they have just massive snow creating machines. So they're making artificial snow so that you can go skiing in Florida now. So it's surrounded by beautiful green trees and it looks like a beautiful location. And they've had to almost close it immediately because they've completely underestimated the amount of snow needed in, in order to help
That
this
is so stupid.
park up and running. And I guess the costs are just going through the roof.
Enormous. Yeah. For those 3 people who came on the first Saturday to go skiing. Oh, man. What a dumbass idea. No, stick to scuba diving and fucking checking out alligators in the swamps, man.
And that one led me to a headline right underneath that I went ahead and read. This is how on the pulse we are today. This is like from today. So somebody has recreated a scene from Elf, but in a really kind of awkward, cringeworthy. I thought it was awkward and cringeworthy, but now I'm like, actually, the world needs more ridiculousness and just like happy stuff like this. But so Doug Henning, he is 45 and 43. He's from Maine and he's never met his biological father. And through one of these ancestry.coms, he managed to track him down. And kind of like in the movie Elf, the father never knew he'd had a son. So it's like a nice story. They've reconnected, and the father, they were both interested in meeting, and the father flew over to see him for Thanksgiving. But the son thought it'd be funny to reenact Elf. So the moment, like the same moment, so he dressed up in an elf's costume, all in green. He's never met this guy before, and ran out singing the elf song.
Daddy, I love you. I love you.
You want me to sing him a song? Yeah. And the father had never seen Elf. So it was it. I think it's still
with my dad.
Yeah.
And he didn't know. Yeah. No, it's awful.
I think it's still a nice story. It made me cringe when I first read it, but I'm like,
there was a link to the video and I just couldn't bring myself to watch it.
I've not watched it.
I couldn't bring myself to watch it.
I think the world needs more ridiculousness and more laughter and happy and fun. And it's not hurting anyone. And if I'm the issue feeling that it's cringy. It's like,
but the dad
go for it.
So the other part of it, the dad was a camera operator.
No, I think Doug was the camera operator.
Doug was a camera operator. Ah, okay. Because that's where I couldn't get it. I was like, the dad's a camera operator, but never heard of the movie Elf.
Yeah, no, I think he was, and
okay,
just didn't get it. But well, I hope they have a lot of fun together. So that sounds cool.
I hope they steal a tree from Central Park.
Yeah.
Did you see the Queen introduce her own gin?
No, I didn't.
The Queen has introduced her own Sandringham Celebration Gin.
Is this like the Queen's? You sign up for the Queen's Peloton class, and she's there. Come on, Yenin, cycle faster.
I don't know if that's a thing.
I'll give you a cucumber sandwich if you make it.
No. So she has, during this lockdown period, become very entrepreneurial. The royal family is clearly lacking in money. So they're like, hey, Queen Mother, get your shit together. Fucking use your name. Let's make some money. And she set up a gin company. and they're using the.
Oh wait, gin. Are you saying gin?
Yeah.
Oh fuck! I thought you were saying gym.
Oh, I get it with the Peloton.
So that makes more sense now.
Yeah, it makes more sense because the royal family drinks a lot more gin.
Right,
Yeah,
gin. Okay, gin.
So she's using Chinese persimmon that is grown at her property at Sandringham.
Okay.
A little backstory: the garden was developed after King Edward VII won a bunch of money on a horse that he owned called Persimmon, and actually developed this area of the garden. So like this entire part of the garden is developed after that.
And named it after the horse.
Yeah.
It's a nice
and
little tidbit.
also, I suppose, introduced fruits that were after the horse too. So yeah, they use all of the herbs and everything from the garden, and she's developed this gin. Or her name is on it, and someone has developed this gin at Sandringham.
I bet that'll do really well, actually. Well, Prince Charles has turkeys. Like you buy your Prince Charles.
He also has a liquor company. He also sells not just gin, but I think a variety of liquors that are organically based from his farm. So he's also doing the same thing. And also, she isn't behind it by the sounds of it, but the Queen's estate also has another gin that they market as well. And that's also from fruits and so on from their gardens.
Nice.
But this one is retails at $67 per bottle. So whatever that is, maybe 50 something pound per bottle. And you can, unfortunately for everyone overseas, it's not being shipped overseas. You can only buy it in the UK.
I think rumor has it that Prince Harry has he has his own line of Coke, so he's not figured out how to ship that overseas either yet. So
yeah, he's just consuming it.
That's just a rumor.
But
I don't know if that's true.
Yeah, as the last part of it, it's really funny, how they flesh out the stories. But one of the things that they talked about was that the Queen Mother still loves a gin per day, and her go-to cocktail at lunch, I'll have you, is gin and Dubonnet.
That is Dubonnet. That's the one that looks like the Holy Hanger.
It is, yeah. Yeah. Good for her, man. She's like, what, fucking 150 or something?
Oh, at least. Maybe twice that.
Maybe twice that,
yeah. I've got some updates. I've got a little bit of sad news for the old Celts in the Caribbean. Over the last 32 episodes, we've utilized a lot out of the story about service animals.
Yeah.
I think we've had the bee. I think there was somebody that tried to register some bees. Peacocks.
I think we might have had a horse in there somewhere.
I think somebody tried to register an emotional support beer as a way of being able to. That was one as well, wasn't it? Wasn't able so you could drink on public transport because it was an emotional support animal?
I don't think so, but I would like to read more about
Might have made that up. Google it. Or listen to all our other episodes that we might have spoken of. But unfortunately, that is all coming to an end as now emotional support. I think as the 1st of January, the emotional support animals can only be dogs. So that is, boom, one of our avenues of hilarity has been closed. Dun, dun, dun.
Oh, that's quite sad. But it also makes sense.
Yeah, it does make sense. It was just getting ridiculous.
Weird, right?
It was getting out of hand. But also people just taking the piss. I would imagine 60 to 80% of the emotional support animals are just nonsense in order to get your dog on there for free.
Yeah, exactly.
Got another Celts in the Caribbean update. I think we last spoke about this in December 2019. At least this was when he proposed, but there was the Kazakhstan bodybuilder who had proposed to his sex doll. Remember that story?
I don't. Tell me more.
You're just not paying attention, mate.
I don't even. What did you just say?
So Yuri, he is a bodybuilder from Kazakhstan. About a year ago, he proposed to his sex doll. I don't know what her response was, but now, due to COVID, the wedding got delayed. So they were meant to get married in March. But I'll just show you. I'll show you some beautiful photos of their wedding there. So that's quite a sweet one there. You know, and
Very nice.
I think that's maybe the honeymoon.
God, he's wearing Speedos.
He's wearing Speedos. She's wearing like a little Brazilian kind of.
It's all just so wrong. Why?
Oh, here's a nice squatting photo of them.
Look,
both
man, I'm not into dudes, but like, surely that motherfucker could have got a woman, not a plastic inflatable.
If he's happy, if anyone's happy, I'm just like all for it. But maybe.
Yeah, but this
just
is not.
Maybe speak to someone.
This is not Lars and the real girl. This is like fucking someone who just wants attention, right? He's a buff dude who clearly could have a woman.
I would think
it's
so.
Not like he's got mental problems.
These photos on Instagram, they've only got it's got 1,000 likes, so it's not mega. It's not like you're getting
but who
a
the
million
fuck has
likes.
Instagram in Kazakhstan.
I've never been there. I don't know. And I've never done a survey on how many people in Kazakhstan have Instagram.
Well, we could probably do that.
We could do it right now. Yeah.
This could be like a Joe Rogan segment where he fact checks.
Fact check.
Google says.
First thing that comes up. No idea.
Well,
those are my updates.
Did you see the British actors that can't apply to be the young Prince William in the upcoming royal movie, Spencer?
Oh, they're really milking this. So they've got The Crown. I did watch the Harry Enfield one where they were. It was like a comedy version of the royal family. So they're making a film now as well.
Yeah, called Spencer.
And why aren't some people allowed to
honestly
apply?
I didn't know was I going to talk about this story because it just seems so fucking ridiculous. The actors, the casting agency came out and said that the actors have to have this the same passport. The significant characters, that is, have to have the same passports to match that of the financiers.
Right. What does that mean? Like,
I don't know what that means.
You mean
as far as I can tell?
Well, who's the financiers?
Yeah, well, they're clearly European and not. The issue now is coming up as that it's a Brexit thing. It comes up that you need to have a European passport to participate in this movie.
So the accents are all going to be amazing.
Yeah.
So it's going to be all like kind of. The Queen's going to be trying to hide her Russian accent. And
yeah, exactly right. But it's a lot of controversy, but it also seems really ridiculous. I mean, surely that can't be a thing, right? I mean, movies take place all over the world all the time.
Just because you don't have a European passport doesn't mean you can't go to France to film it might be a work. Might be a work visa. I bet it's a bit of a work visa problem. Maybe it's going to be bouncing around all of Europe. But
the other thing could be that it could be like a really low grade movie. So this comes up in the Irish Post as like this sensationalized heading. But the other point could be that this is like a Z-list movie, and working visas are an issue. But like, I mean, if it's an A-list movie. Yeah, that they don't do anything about that. Sure, their filming locations are everywhere, and it's a mixed bag of everything. However, good news for Irish kids. The call went out to like a lot of Irish agencies because, well, we're still part of the EU.
Nice. All right there, Gran. Can I fucking try on your crown?
That's Scotland, and you're from Scotland, and you should know that.
And it was still a bad accent.
I feel like
Potatoes.
There we go. Perfect.
Grant, you got any potatoes?
You got the entire demographic with that.
It is, yeah. I guess accents is not my. It's not my
Forte,
thing.
yeah.
I'll work on it. How about Australian? You got an Australian accent in you? G'day.
You fucking can't.
He's put another. No,
You're-
I don't want to be stereotypical.
You're acting like a fucking dickhead, mate.
He's a Ted. Gold. Anyway,
everything I have involves swear words. I'm sorry, Australia, but
well,
yeah.
that's quite poignant because my story, my headline has a swear word in it. The Australian village of fucking has has decided to change its name. Okay, so this it has a population of 100. It's in Upper Australia, and the long-suffering residents of this village have had the name for 100 years, and I'd imagine it's been quite good for tourism. Yeah, like you go and get your fucking soap or your fucking t-shirt. But a lot of their road signs keep getting stolen, and the mayor Andrea Holzner has decided that as of January the 1st, 2021, they're changing the name.
There's no fucking.
There's no fucking, but they're changing it to something that's not really that much better.
Lovemaking.
Fugging.
Oh god.
So Fugging. So they're going from fucking
Jesus
to
Christ.
fugging. They're like, it's a shit name as well.
What a shit name. Just name it after someone who pioneered in that area. It's easier, right?
Well, it's
Jamestown or
there's
Cookstown
100
or-
people in there, so and it's Upper Australia. So maybe the best thing that anyone's done there is drink a full crate of like 4x gold. So they could have just named it after
4X.
Yeah, just call it Bruce or something.
Bruce.
Yeah.
Brucetown.
Brucetown. That's all right. It's better.
It's better than fucking or fugging
or fogging or fug. What was it called?
Fugging?
Fugging. Yeah.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Brucetown.
That's ridiculous.
Call it after your favorite kangaroo or
For
something.
fuck's sake.
Yeah. I love Australia though. You guys fucking rock.
Yeah, you do. Have you seen the leg lengthening? I didn't know that this existed until today.
I have one leg shorter than the other, so I'm intrigued.
Okay.
I might be down for getting one of my legs.
Well, see if you're
lengthened.
intrigued after I talk about what I'm talking about. So this is like, well, it's not a new cosmetic surgery, but it is actually gaining in popularity in the last 10 years. So there's like 12 countries that do it. It's rising in popularity with people who are self-conscious about their heights.
Oh, so this is a purely cosmetic thing.
Cosmetic leg lengthening, yeah.
Okay.
So
you've
they
got
could-
a gammy leg, and we're going to sort this out. This is like,
well, presumably they can do the same thing with one leg, right? But what they can do is increase your height. That was a noisy one.
yeah. Sorry.
Every time I'm talking to you.
The flat-headed screwdriver is a noisy way to open beers.
So they can increase your height by 5 inches, which is enormous.
That seems like a lot. Yeah.
It's enormous. And exactly. The process is really excruciating.
And if it's just your legs, you'd almost look like you're on stilts unless your body's disproportional.
Yeah,
right?
correct.
Right.
Yeah. So what they do is they break your leg in half.
Jesus, what countries are doing this? Is this like is America one of them? Like
America is one. The UK has it too. Spain has it.
oh jeez.
Let me see. But the biggest ones were, I'll just look it up now.
Colombia has a huge industry with that kind of stuff. Well, I don't know leg lengthening, but I think they do like the buttock enlarging.
Yeah,
and all
like
this kind of stuff.
like and calf implants and stuff
Yeah.
like that. It's a really it's a really big industry. The US, Germany, and South Korea are the ones that have 100 and 200 times per year doing this specific surgery. The others include Spain, India, Turkey, and Italy, and that's 20 to 40. And at a slightly lower figure, the UK have up to 15 times per year doing leg lengthening.
Jesus.
So what they do is they break your leg in half, they create a hole, and then they insert rods into those holes.
Is it all done at like straight away or 5 inches taller, or do they do it like inch by inch to stretch
inch
the
by
skin?
inch, millimeter by millimeter. So they insert the rods on both legs, and then they essentially jack you up.
Oh, fuck off. So then you like screw it up so it goes up by like...
They screw it up by 1 millimeter per day.
Oh.
So the pain threshold of this is supposed to be abnormal. And what they do is they get to like your required height by millimeter. Like that's an insane amount of days to do that, to even reach 5 inches. Like that's massive, man. So you do this day in, day out, you know, jack the person up by the millimeter. And then when you're happy, then they let the bones heal themselves. And then the bone is supposed to grow over the metal. And by the sounds of it, it is actually, it's pretty successful, but it can create such issues like nerve damage, which would probably be a no-brainer. That's nuts. Also, the fact that the bone doesn't grow around it again can also be a really big thing. So the bone refuses to grow. So then you have just metal in between bone. Or blood clots. Like it's really treacherous, and you have to have up to a year of rehab afterwards for 2 to 3 hours per day for 4 days a week. So you have to do physio for 4 hours, 4 days a week for up to 3 hours. That's fucking crazy, man.
That's a lot, but like if you're
that self-conscious and you're mentally,
if you're that self-conscious, you're going to do that.
Yeah.
But that sounds like,
yeah, it doesn't sound like something I want to do.
No, I mean, well, we're good. We're both about 6 feet.
Yeah, I'm 6'1", so yeah, happy days.
5'11" and a half.
I could get the 6'5" though. I just want to be able to dunk. You know what I mean?
I just want that. I want that extra half inch just to.
It's like that episode of South Park where they put the testicles in their knees to give them springs. And then they all start busting when they start dunking. Yeah. Anyway, this is a thing, not the testicles in the knees.
Oh man, that sounds. That gives me the creeps. That
gives
one,
me the
man.
creeps too, dude.
All right, we're at about 53 minutes, and I just realized how many headlines I still have. So I'm going to smash out a few belters without going into them.
Can I pour you a Duvel?
You are very welcome to pour me a Duvel.
Pause that shit.
Okay, we've only got a few minutes left, and I've still got a ton of amazing headlines.
I'm excited.
But they have very little substance to them. So,
okay, am I allowed to flesh them out, or we just have to fly through them?
No. You can flesh them out. If there's anything that grabs your attention, you can grab hold to that and we'll
grab them by the pussy.
Grab them by the pussy. On that note, an anti-gay Hungarian politician has had to resign after being caught by the police fleeing a 25-man orgy.
Fucking great. I know this story.
Did you see this one?
I read it.
This happens. It's crazy. It does appear that like the most homophobic people are always like.
But he was caught
mad for the cock.
He was caught with drugs.
Oh, I didn't see that part.
Okay,
of it.
so the police were called on this party.
This is in Belgium, I think.
Yeah, it was in Belgium. So he actually was a member of the European Parliament for Hungary. He was
hungry for something.
He was
gobble.
Hungry for anyway. He was probably the highest ranking of that party. So like the highest party ranking official, and in that party they are totally anti-gay. And turns out that he was at this gay fest where this orgy where there was like 25 dudes. There was a couple of women. When the police came in, there were like they counted something like 10 males were totally undressed. And then they spotted someone climbing down the drain pipe.
Yeah, he escaped through a window.
He escaped through the window and went down a drain pipe, and he took off on foot, and then they caught him. And in his backpack, they found ecstasy. And he then was like, this is not mine. The total charade. But the other thing was that he does have diplomatic immunity. And 2 other people at the party that night were also there from other European states, and they invoked diplomatic immunity. Not him, but 2 others.
But I assume the only illegal thing that was going on was the drugs.
Yeah. Correct.
Because, well, we want to be clear that if you want to have a 25-man orgy, go for it.
Sweet. Do
Brilliant. We're like, as long as everybody's happy and everybody's consenting, like, you go crazy. But if you're going to be anti-gay and like block LGBT rights, and then go and do that, like, if you're going to be a dickhead, that's like,
yeah, exactly. And the poor wife of this guy, he's been married for like 20 years or something, and I think they have a kid as well or something. And I mean, Jesus Christ, how do you fucking explain that?
Well, it doesn't.
You don't. You're just like, okay.
It's like, oh well, fuck. But what I hate about stories like this is like he's obviously trying to hide something, which is sad that he doesn't feel like he can be who he is. But in order to hide that, he is curtailing LGBTQ rights for so many other people in that country in order to hide this thing.
And then he frivolously like exploits it whenever he's in a country where it is actually pretty okay to just be open and free, you know? Like, and then you go back to your own country, Hungary, and then it's like, no, this is bad. Yeah, I think that's a terrible thing. I mean,
so
this guy should be ashamed of himself, not for the drugs, but for not having the balls to stand up for this.
Yeah, just be who you want to be, man.
Yeah, man.
Joseph Schnerger. I guess there might be a cultural thing there as well that is difficult to just be. Of
course there is,
but yeah, man. But
if you're that open to go in with the gangbang of 25 other dudes, I think you're about ready to come out as being gay.
Yeah.
I
was just experimenting.
I think you're not in a closet anymore. I think you're like in a walk-in wardrobe.
Another hypocrisy in the last couple of weeks was Steve Adler. He is, I think, the mayor of Austin. So he did a Facebook Live.
Yeah, from Cabo. Fucking douchebag.
Sitting on the beach going, everyone stay at home. He's fucking
drinking an umbrella drink.
Sitting on the beach. Probably in his budgie smugglers.
And you know, the worst part of that for me was that they were all Democratic. And it's not like I'm a Democrat or a Republic if I was a US citizen, but I'm just like, I think the side that I would go towards more would be those who are in values with the values that I have, and that would probably be Democratic at this point. But I mean, like, you do no one any favors at all by being such a fucking prick.
On each side, there's all
on each side, but at least in the Republicans, they're just like, hey, I'm coming to you from Cabo. No, the Democrats are like, you know, yeah, stay at home. And then it comes out like a day later that he's in Cabo. It's just so stupid. Like, I don't understand it. Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Any wins that they have start to be lost with stupid shit like that. So what other headlines do you have?
I've got one from Namibia.
Okay. This I have definitely not seen.
Okay, so there is a gentleman who has won a local election there and is unfortunately named Adolf Hitler.
Oh, I have seen this.
He says he has no plans for world domination after winning a sweeping victory in the local elections. and he is now the counselor for the Bundaja contingency.
But
Apologies
I would
if I
like to
mispronounced
grow
that.
a very nice mustache.
I also apologize for Eunan's terrible
Austrian impression.
No, it was Nigeria, man.
No, I was meaning.
You were doing
I was doing
a
a Hitler
Nazi
impression.
Even better. Perfect. This is why this is why we do not get shared far and wide. Oh, I know we keep meaning to do Alexa jokes. And so wait, I'll finish on the Alexa joke. Oh, we're already over the hour mark, but
Go for it.
Whatever. Last few headlines I've got. What am I doing? It's the South African lottery is being probed this week because the numbers that were drawn were 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and the Powerball was 10. So,
oh, fuck off.
So that created 5 millionaires, but it is currently getting probed because the odds of that happening, I guess, are probably the same as any other fucking numbers. But the fact that they came up in succession as well, there may have been a little bit of an issue there. Some news from Scotland. We've had some weather. In true British fashion, I'm going to talk a little bit about the weather for a moment. Last night or 2 nights ago, we had thunder snow. It's a rare weather thing. It sounds amazing. So it's just massive explosions within a snowstorm.
Yeah.
So it's like there was a lot of phone calls to the police thinking like there was bombs going off.
Yeah, and the police had to like fucking tell everyone it's all okay. It's just weather.
It's fine. It's just a thunder snow. I think if we ever form a band, I don't think we should call it Celts in the Caribbean because that sounds like a 2-piece on a fucking cruise ship. But we should maybe call ourselves Thunder Snow.
I like it.
I'd go and see Thunder. Oh, although it could be seen as like a Prince Harry Coke party.
It could
be. Do you want to go to the Thunder Snow party? Oh, yeah. All right. Last two. I get like I think we talked about anal sunning when you would go out to the and you'd like pull your butt cheeks apart.
The what's it? The perennial
sunning and then like the vitamin D would make you feel good. And then a couple of weeks later we followed up on it and it wasn't a good idea because everybody was like getting sunburned on their assholes.
Yeah.
Now it's a Brazilian model is claiming that if you sunbathe your vagina for 2 hours a day, that will boost your libido. So that's not something we can personally go out and practice.
But you got this from
this is from
the Pope's Instagram page. No, is it the same model?
He was liking it. This is from the New York. This is from the New York Post, but I have a feeling like. Here's I'll just show you in the picture of her. Here's our vagina sunning photo.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That looks very sunny.
It does look sunny. It's just I feel like she's in Brazil. So yeah, let us know if that works.
If that's a thing, send us pictures.
And there was have you heard of Naughty in New Orleans?
No.
So it's a swingers event in New Orleans.
Of course, I haven't heard of it. What a stupid question.
So I had also never heard of it. But Naughty in New Orleans is an annual swinger event. And it is, unfortunately, it still went ahead this year and is now officially classed as a COVID-19 super spreader event, which I'm sure none of us or anybody that went and participated could have seen happening. But
of course.
How did you not see this coming?
I got it from my wife.
Straight in your eye.
I got it from Marco.
Yeah. So far, 41 out of 250 attendees have returned positive cases, and that is expected to go up.
Jesus.
So any of our listeners, I imagine that's kind of our demographic. So
yeah.
And if you have
if you were at
New
Orleans on a gangbang weekend, please let us know.
Yeah.
And tell Tell us about your COVID stories. How you got them.
When we just finished with a little, when we contacted the people that were positive, we asked them several questions to find out more positive, if there were more positive cases. Oh, that was not an exciting quote at all.
No, it wasn't.
I took a risk and I briefly scanned it and I thought it'd be a funny quote to end on, and it wasn't.
Oh, that was terrible. That was what you were. You were so positive. Like, you were so positive about it. You were like, you know what? I'm just gonna fucking do the intro just as it happens.
No, hang on. I keep having to move the intro forward. Okay, I will finish on an Alexa joke.
Go for it.
Okay, are you prepared?
No.
Near am I? I've forgotten it.
Read
what
it.
do you? No, I
Get
asked,
her to read it.
I don't remember. I asked Alexa before I left because I keep meaning to do this each week to have an Alexa joke because they're like super cheesy. What?
It's going to be a
fuck,
disaster.
I've ruined it. It's already a disaster. I've ruined it. It was something to do with a baby pickle. How do you get a baby pickle?
Don't know.
From a cucumber. Never mind. All right, thanks for.
Don't ever do this segment again, Alan.
I don't think this is.
That's awful. That's even worse than my dad jokes. Jesus.
Okay, guys. Well, thank you very much for listening, and I apologize profusely
for that shite joke.
Yeah, it was. I don't think that was even. I mean, it was bad to start off with, and I think
your delivery was poor too. Yeah,
poor.
I'll be. As a critic, it was poor. Yeah.
There's a lot of empty beer bottles lying around here that I'm going to use as my excuse.
Sure.
All right, guys.
Good
take
night,
care.
everyone.
We'll see you in a couple of weeks. Cheers.
Stay safe.